Thank you. All right. So first of all, a couple of protocols and agenda for the night. First of all, please mute your microphones, just so that we can make sure that everyone can hear. Please do not press, this is something that's not on here, but don't press the present your screen button. It will take over my screen and then nobody will be able to see this presentation. When it comes time at the end of the presentation, please hold your questions to type them into the chat window at the very end of the presentation, because many of those questions will be answered throughout the presentation. So here's the agenda tonight. We're going to review the two options that parents and students have to choose this year. We're going to look at the similarities and differences of the two options. We're going to answer every question that people send in. If they're similar questions, we'll answer them at the same time. And then we're going to share the forms that we have for you to choose the options that we have. So first of all, thank you so much this summer for being patient and flexible. I know we have been making plans according to the ever-changing plans that the state and national government keep giving us. And we do appreciate your partnership with us to serve you and our students. And we are committing to give our all for the best outcomes of our students this year in spite of the pandemic. I've admitted to every group that I've presented this to this is not the best for our kids, and we know it. But we are going to do everything that we can to make sure that we give our students the best that we can and give them a rigorous learning environment to help them move forward this year. And we will.
Your presentation went away because someone accidentally was presenting, so you just have to restart it.
Okay. Yeah, again, please do not press the present screen now. Thank you for letting me know. Can we see it now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So again, we will stay with you today until we answer all of your questions, because it's very important to us that you have all of the information that you need. So first of all, before we get into the actual plans that we have, the first thing we want to mention is that the student expectations for this school year on distance learning are going to be different than they were for the end of last year. At the end of last year, we were bound to hold students harmless and not harm their grades, because it was a last minute kind of thing. But because this year it is a planned thing that's happening for the beginning of the school year, students will be responsible and required to participate in instruction on a daily basis, whether that's live or asynchronous. They will have to present instruction daily. Okay, please make sure that your mics are muted. I have somebody talking and we can hear you. So again, students are required to complete all of the assignments that are assigned to them. There is no hold harmless state mandate. Assignments will be based on content level standards and be equivalent to in-person instruction. And students will be graded based on the regular Mountain House High School grading policy. There is no longer a credit, no credit. It's the same grading policy that we have. And these requirements are all set by State Senate Bill 98, and you can look those up online if you choose to. So we have two programs this year. One is our online pathway. That is an existing pathway that we're using to help parents and students who do not want to come to our campus this year, and then a hybrid option. So the full-time online program, both of these programs have existed in Mountain House High School for the past few years. This is not new for us. This is something that we know how to do. But due to the nature and pandemic of the current school and local guidelines, we're making a few changes to the terms of these programs for this next school year. And it's important that we define these two programs and the changes from how we've operated in the past. Before we get into the actual programs themselves, I want you to be familiar with the definitions of the terms that we're going to use. So the first term is online course. So when I refer to an online course, it means any course that's taken at our school, whether it's in the online pathway or the hybrid pathway, that's delivered through our online curriculum tool, Edgenuity. It means Edgenuity is the teacher of the class, and all content is delivered through pre-recorded video lessons, readings, online assignments, quizzes, tests, and projects. So with these online courses, students are able to watch and rewatch videos, read transcripts of the videos. Assessments are designed and given through that Edgenuity curriculum tool. A Mountain House High School teacher will be assigned to track the progress of students in these classes, and we will have credentialed teachers to offer help when students get stuck. So the course, these online courses this year, when you choose them, will remain the same regardless of whether we move from distance learning to on campus. Just so that you know as well, any student who joins these courses, we do have accommodations that can be implemented for students with special education services, 504 plans, and students who are still learning English. So that's the first term. The second term we'll be using over and over again is FacetoFace Course. So any FacetoFace course is that's taken on campus, whether it's during distance learning or when we can actually physically return to campus, those courses are actually delivered through Mountain House High School teachers. They're designed by the teachers here. The teacher delivers the instruction and creates the assessments. They respond to class and students' needs and adjust instruction and delivery. And while we're on distance learning, the course is delivered virtually through Canvas by the Mountain House High School teacher. And then when we're able to come back to campus, the class will be a combination of in class when they can be here and online learning designed by the teacher. So that's the difference between those two terms. Online course is a fully online course that's taught through Edgenuity. Face-to-face course means a course designed by the teacher here and delivered virtually during distance learning and face-to-face when we're able to come back to campus. Now that you know the definition of those two terms, there are two programs offered in this school year. The first program is online, which means 100% of the classes are online classes through our Edgenuity curriculum tool. The second program is our hybrid program. This is where students can choose a combination of online and face-to-face, or they can have all face-to-face courses if they want. So those face-to-face courses will depend on how they're being taught, depending on whether we're on distance learning or face-to-face learning. And we are asking that all families choose their method by July 24th. So the question is going to be, let's go into the specifics of each of these two programs, the online and the hybrid. So first, the fully online, 100% online program. So if you don't want your student to come onto campus, you don't want them here at all for the whole school year, this is what the online program looks like. They are only the classes that are offered through Edgenuity, and we've sent out information about those classes through email, and it is available on our website as well. Only those classes are available in this 100% online program. Students don't come to campus at all. They're required to complete all work and assessments on their school-issued Chromebook. Students will have one teacher who oversees and tracks progress in all of their classes, and they'll use email or virtual methods to interact with their teacher. There will be opportunities if a student gets stuck on a certain topic in that online class to interact with a live teacher to get intervention and help as well. So students must stay on pace with their courses every week. We will be taking attendance for students by keeping track of whether they have completed the work that has been assigned on each day. Students who don't keep up with that will be marked absent. So students have to stay on pace with their courses every week, which takes about anywhere between 45 and 60 minutes per day per course. Students will have, if you're a freshman, sophomore, or junior, 6 to 7 courses a day, and seniors can go down to 5 courses a day, depending on the credit that's needed for graduation. So a couple of more things about this online program. There are several popular courses that are not available with this online Edgenuity program. In general, those are the courses that required specialized equipment, certain labs, certain hands-on components, or performance components. So you'll see a list right here of those popular face-to-face courses that are not available through Edgenuity. The reasoning for that is that we do not have UC college-approved online courses that can be given to students for the duration of an entire year. Only the courses that we have in Edgenuity are fully vetted through our UC system and able to give to students online. So you'll notice there are several AP classes that are not available, although there are a number of AP classes that are available. None of our Project Lead the Way classes will be available through online means. Our culinary class, our business classes, Chinese is not available online. We do have Spanish and French available online, but none of our art classes or our music classes are available through that online program. So the big question is, what if I want to be in the online program, but I want to take one of those courses, those specialty courses that are not offered by Edgenuity? In this instance, we suggest that you select or look at the hybrid program, which allows you to choose all of your classes online and just maybe take one or two of those face-to-face classes. So let's take a look at the components of the hybrid program. In the hybrid program, students can choose any combination of online, which is those Edgenuity classes, and face-to-face classes. So students can choose all of their classes face-to-face if they wish, and just stick with all of those face-to-face classes, and when we can come back to campus, they will go right into those classes with the teachers. So some suggestions for choosing which classes you might take face-to-face are, well, maybe you just want all of them face-to-face, or maybe you want most of them online and you want classes focused on intervention like study skills, English language development, learning lab, math support, English language arts support, or classes where you may need additional support. Say you do well with all of the other classes, but you really feel like you need that Mountain House High School teacher to be the one teaching you math. Or classes with a structure where of seeing a teacher each week will help you be successful. Or any other class, like we mentioned before, that is not available in the online program. You might want to take all of your classes online except for that one engineering class or that one computer science class. So the big question is, aren't we all on distance learning and we're all learning online anyway? Yes, that's true. Students in the hybrid program initially, when the school year starts, will receive all of their instruction in a virtual fashion in their face-to-face classes during distance learning. They can still take their specialized face-to-face classes even though we are on distance learning. The earliest we'll finish distance learning will be August 31st. The district will, in conjunction with county health and education leaders, are going to reevaluate the situation and the safety of campus around that time. And when it is safe to return to campus, according to those health officials, students in the hybrid program will attend school following the approved schedule. So I'm going to show you what that schedule will look like. When it is actually safe, and those health officials say it is safe to come back to campus, the schedule we'll follow for face-to-face classes is listed here. The campus will be split in half. So we'll only have about half of the students on campus each day into an A group and a B group. And Lemmersville Unified School District is working with the schools and community to determine the best way to create these groups to afford for smaller classes on a daily basis. So you'll notice, if I'm a student that's assigned to the A group, then I will physically attend school when we go back to campus on Mondays. On Wednesday, there's an opportunity for intervention that I might be able to come to campus and get additional help, like our success period typically is, where they can schedule in either to see a teacher virtually or in person. And then if I'm in group A, I will see the rest of my class periods, including a success period at the end of the day on Thursday. So a student in the A group is going to be on campus twice a week, and they will see each of their teachers once a week for that class. All the remainder of the days of the week, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, an A group student will be distance learning on those days. So something to remember too is that these 4 periods will actually be longer periods. They'll be anywhere between 80 and 95 minutes a day, a period, so that teachers can have a longer period of time to really interact with the small groups of students that will be in there. And again, the reason why we're splitting them into an A group and a B group is typically our classrooms are anywhere between 30 and 35 students. And if we create an A-B group, then we cut that number in half. So here's a little bit more information about the hybrid program. Students will have a different teacher for each class in the hybrid program, whether it's a face-to-face class or an online Edgenuity class. They will have a dedicated teacher for each of those classes. Different from the online program, where in the online program they have one teacher monitoring all of their classes. A hybrid student will have multiple teachers. Students will take all of their assessments for all classes, including their online classes, on campus when we're not in distance learning. So they'll, even in an online class, would come onto campus. We're opening a testing center in the Learning Commons that will be regularly sanitized, where students will come in and get those tests proctored. Students can also be brought on campus to receive intervention as necessary when we're not on distance learning. And for each face-to-face class, students will attend approximately 80 to 95 minute blocks in each period per week with the teacher. The other thing to remember is, depending on the number of face-to-face classes you choose, will determine how many 90-minute blocks you'll attend. Let me go back one slide here. And if you'll notice, for instance, if I only chose engineering, for example, and everything else is online, and engineering was first period, I would only come to that first period class, that one period, at the beginning of the week, and I would not come back on campus again until that first period when we go back to a face-to-face format. So, another big question. Just one moment, I'm going to turn my air conditioner back on. It's getting warm. Okay, how are we keeping campus safe for students? So, a couple of features of what we'll be doing for when students actually do come back to campus. Like I said before, the campus will be split in half for attendance days. So when students actually come to campus, there will only be half of the students in their classroom. Students will be distanced at 6 feet apart in the classrooms. When they're taking their tests or receiving intervention, students will be distanced at least 6 feet apart. Interventions will occur in groups no longer larger than 15, and we'll be using our Flex Time Manager system. Those of you who are new to our school or freshmen, that's a system where students can sign up for office hours or interventions, and teachers can also pull students in during that time if they need to. There's reduced contacts outside of the classroom, because instead of having 7 periods a day, we're only having 4 periods a day, and students are only moving around 4 times. The school is consistently going to follow county public health guidelines for our personal protective equipment. And I'm not going to get into the details of what that means right now, because there are still several weeks, actually at least until September, before we would ever be able to be back on campus. And those things change on a daily basis. For example, we just learned very recently that there will be an expectation for all students and all staff to wear masks while they're on campus. But, you know, 2 months down the road, that suggestion might change depending on what's going on in our world. Every classroom will be sanitized daily, and actually between each period, all of the classrooms will be wiped down, and our restrooms will be sanitized at least hourly. So the next question is, which option is best for my students' future? I want to remind all of you that I'm not just your principal, but I have 2 high school students at school here. One's a senior, one's a sophomore. And so we're going through this same decision-making process as a family. And we're thinking, how is this going to affect my students' ability to apply for college and be accepted to the colleges and universities that they desire to go to? So first of all, we want you to know that both options offer college prep A through G, which is what the UC calls it, coursework, to meet all recommended courses for the University of California. Both options also offer classes that are NCAA approved. That's for our students who are interested in playing sports in college. You also have to have those courses approved, and we have all of our courses in both the face-to-face and online format are approved through NCAA. Both options are viable and vetted educational options for students. We have every class a student would need to be college eligible in both the online program and the face-to-face program. Both options afford the same number of credits towards graduation. They follow the same grading policy, and they also allow students to participate in campus events and extracurriculars. For example, if you're in the online program and things get better because you're choosing it for the year, that online program allows students to participate in sports, extracurricular activities, and clubs, just the same way that a face-to-face student would. Both options allow students to take 6 to 7 classes for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, and 5 to 7 classes for seniors on track for graduation. So which option is best for your student's future? Many of our electives and pathways are not available online. We talked about that earlier, and so you need to consider that. Pathway classes often provide balance for students. It's the class that they look forward to every day, like engineering or culinary, band, choir, drama. Those things help them pursue their passions, and they do look good for college. And you also need to know yourself best. Choose the option that best meets your learning needs, sets you up for success. If you're a self-directed student, an online environment might work really well for you. Some students just really need the support and consistency of attending class and interacting with a teacher like the face-to-face courses have. So now you know the two options, 100% online or hybrid, which means either online and face-to-face or all face-to-face. So no action needs to be taken if you want to keep all of the classes that you've already chosen. If you chose classes and you already know that you don't want to change anything about it and you want to stay in the face-to-face classes and or online classes that you chose in February, that's the default program and you're automatically there, so no forms are needed. No action also needs to be taken if you already applied for the online program. Say you got an email or you already knew about the information and you went on and you've not the survey, but you filled out the full online pathway application and you want to stay in the online program, you do not need to do anything. You will be contacted in the upcoming weeks about your course selection so we can change any of those classes that need to be changed because they're not offered in the online program. Now, if you want the fully online program, if you've already completed that application, just like I said, you don't need to do anything. That's the full online application, not the survey, the application. You will be contacted in the coming weeks to make your course selections in case there's some of those courses that didn't fit from your face-to-face classes. If you do want the online program and you have not yet applied this summer, you will apply for that program, and this is the link that you will visit. Oops, go back. I'm going to leave this page here for just a second. You can write down that tiny URL address so that, or screenshot it so that you can get to it. So again, this is if you want the online program, you have not completed the online application, you don't want your student to come to any classes on campus, and you have not yet filled that form out. This is the form that you'll fill out, and someone will contact you in the next couple of weeks. So what if you want the hybrid program, but you already applied online, or you want the hybrid program and you want to increase the number of online classes that you're taking? This is the form that you'll use. This is what we're calling the MHHS choice form. So it's tinyurl.com/MHHS choice. If you fill out this form and you have already filled out the online program form and you've changed your mind, filling out this form will disenroll you from the online program. Again, both of these programs, applications are due by July 24th. In order to fill these forms out, you do need to be logged into your lammersvillusd.net account. That's the student's account. Then a parent must electronically sign the form, with a parent email that works, and we suggest that you check your spam email if you don't receive it, because a confirmation email will be sent at the very end of that application. So what if you want to stay in the default program, which is the hybrid program, but you want to change some of your face-to-face courses to online? So you picked all face-to-face courses, but now you want half of them or most of them online. Same form, MHHS choice form. It'll ask you to identify which face-to-face courses you want to change to online courses. Again, due July 24th. Again, must be logged into the student account, parent electronic signature with a working email for the confirmation, and check your spam if you don't receive it. So the next question is, I forgot what I chose in February. How do I see the classes that I chose? So we encourage you to check your email. We did send some information about that. And the next slide is going to give you some instructions on how to view those courses. I am going to remind you that this is not the time to change from one course to another. Say you chose Spanish and now you want French. We're not honoring those requests. We're just converting face-to-face classes to online classes. Any of those other requests to make schedule changes, like Spanish to French, will occur in August, and it will follow our regular course change timeline, and those course requests will only be changed on a space available basis. So this is a slide that'll show you how to see your current course requests. I put a little tiny URL up here, tinyurl.com/LUSD-Aries-portal. You go to the classes menu over here, and you click on course requests. Your course request will then appear, but it will also have period and teacher assigned, but we want to let you know, please do not email us and say, I don't want it that period, I need a different teacher. This is not the time to request for that, as these will drastically change because of all of these different changes that people are making to their schedule. We're redoing the entire master schedule. The teacher and the period you see will not be the same. That's what I'm saying here. This is a sample of what your schedule might look like if no courses were changed, but we are changing the entire master schedule, so the teachers and periods you see in there are not accurate. You're just looking at this to see, gee, I forgot which classes I chose. We will be making changes in the next 2 weeks as students are changing their course requests, and we'll be releasing completed schedules the week before school starts. So one more thing to remember, sometimes you're going to log in and you're going to see a different request than courses that you actually requested in February. And these are a couple of reasons why you may not see some classes you originally chose. First, not all classes on the course list were able to be offered because not enough students signed up for the class. So the alternate class you chose would have been put in. You may be required to attend an intervention class or another class that offers additional help based on your needs. You also may have selected a course, but you didn't meet the prerequisite requirements, so it was removed. For example, you signed up for Math 3 and you've never taken Math 1. Or you completed summer school courses and that affects your course request because we would change your course request to fit the class that you passed in summer school. So that is the end of our presentation. This is now the time to go ahead and go into that chat window and post your questions in the chat that have not been answered in the presentation. We're going to answer all the questions posted in the chat, so you can either feel free to stick around or you can leave the meeting once you have all the information you need. So I'm